And Shakespearean comedians are laughed at by others. Shakespearean comedians are laughed at by others. So from this you can understand Shakespearean fools laugh at others, they mock others, but Shakespearean comedians are laughed at by others. So this you can see. The difference, you can see from this, very clearly. From these, descriptions about the Shakespearean fools and comedians. Okay, so we have to see the example how Shakespearean fools, laugh at others. Shakespearean fools are Shakespeare, shows his fools as very intelligent one, clever one. Shakespeare has shown his fools, more clever, intelligent than the other characters, both the men and women characters in his plays. So this, we have to know. Shakespeare has taken all the care to show the fools, as a very clever one, more clever than the other characters, the hero, heroines, even the other characters, including hero, heroines. So Shakespeare has a very good respect for the fools. Shakespeare has got a high estimation over the fools. So from his treatment of the fools, from his portrayal of the fools, in a higher way, the greater way, we can understand, Shakespeare has a high regard for his fools. So like this, we have studied Shakespeare's mentality towards the women characters. Shakespeare's mental approach, mental application to shaping of the women characters. Like this, here also we can see Shakespeare's, mind, in the portrayal of the fools in all his plays, in many of his plays. The fools, Shakespearean fools, like Fest in Twelfth Night, Dogberry and Burgess in Much Ado About Nothing. The fool is not given name in Lear. In Lear, fool is called as fool only, the fool in Lear. And in other places, we can quote, these Touchstone, as you like it. In Touchstone, as you like it is a fool. As you like it, Touchstone, as you like it is a fool. So we can quote, these characters, Touchstone, Dogberry, Burgess, and Dogberry, Burgess, they are not fools. They come as a comedian. Sorry. So fool in Lear, Touchstone in As You Like It, and First in Twelfth Night are very good examples for Shakespearean fools, having the characteristic that I have told you. Then Shakespearean comedians. Example for Shakespearean comedians are, Henry the Fourth. Henry the Fourth, we have a very big comedian, very big comedian. His name is Henry the Fourth. Dogberry Burgess in Much Ado About Nothing can be called, comedians. And in Midsummer Night's Scene, we have Bottom as a hero in the comic play. He's also a big comedian. And comedian, very famous comedian, very popular comedian we come across in Henry the Fourth. His name is Falstaff. Memorable comedian we come across in Shakespeare's historical play Henry the Fourth. In a way, he excels all other comedians in other Shakespearean plays. So let's discuss. Let's see, one by one, these the behavior, the act, and the speeches, the fools they make in the Shakespearean plays. First, let's take First as an example. First, let's take First as the first example. First, in 12th night, plays a very important role in the triangle plots, the triangle, love plots. The play has triangle love. The love between love, Shakespeare has woven a triangle love very cleverly, very aptly, superbly in the play. Orsino has love for Olivia. Viola has love for Orsino. And Olivia has love for Cesario. Like this, Shakespeare has woven the love plots, the triangle love plots. So it's a very interesting one. So you can see the very intelligent, very clever, direction of Shakespeare in this play for the triangle, love themes. Orsino has love for Olivia, but his love is not returned, accepted by Olivia. Viola has love for Orsino, but she is not, able to reveal her love to Orsino because she is in disguise of a man. Olivia falls in love with the Cesario. Cesario is actually Viola in disguise of a man. So again, Viola's love cannot be accepted by Cesario. See how Shakespeare, creates complication in all the three love plots. And finally, he resolves the complications at the end of the play in a very interesting way. That is Shakespeare. So in all these things, we can see the creative mind of Shakespeare. Now, the first plays a very important role in all these, in these, three love plots, in all these three love plots. So he plays some role for Orsino also. And he also plays some role for Olivia also. Okay, Shakespeare uses only one fool in the play. Sometimes putting him in the place of Orsino, and sometimes putting him in the place of Olivia, both the hero and heroine, and making comments on their behavior, or making comments on the behavior of the hero and heroine. First, makes a very intelligent comments about the behavior of Olivia that I told you yesterday. For example, Olivia, she makes a comment. Any man with a common sense will mourn, will say, or will mourn, will say, will mourn the death of her brother, death of any man for 7 years. So knowing the Olivia's plan to mourn the death of her brother for 7 years, first makes a comment like this, can any man, can it be possible for any man to mourn the death of any person, death of any close relatives, or a death of any person for 7 years? For 7 years. So can any sensible person do it? Immediately it points out the stupidity in the behavior of Olivia. Yesterday I told you in a different way. The Olivia, as a young woman, does all these things in an exaggerated way that we find usually among the youngsters, even in our place. We also did like that. Yesterday I told you, even when we were young, we also did like that. Things in an exaggerated way. When we attended the funerals, the marriage ceremonies, marriage functions, something like this. So I have, as a college students also, we used to do things in an exaggerated way as a college students. That we can find among the college students now also. And Shakespeare has applied that, behavior to Olivia's character, that we have to know. But the fool, has a mind to understand the folly in the behavior of Olivia, and he cleverly makes a comment on Olivia, even though He behaves like a fool. He talks like a fool. But he is not a fool. He is not a fool. He is not a fool. But he is very intelligent ultimately. Okay, so he from his comment on Olivia, from his comment on Orsino, we can understand him. On your way to Olivia, Viola, first and Viola, on your way to Olivia's house or on her way back from Olivia's house, when Viola meets this fool, to Viola, he is not a fool altogether. He speaks, she makes a comment, very good life, very good understanding about life. Okay, so as I told you yesterday, Viola has a very good understanding, okay, about life, and also the mindsets and the quality, the people's quality in the people factor. So from this comment of Viola on the food, also we can she has a mind to study the characteristic quality of the people. Yesterday, I know she never negative comment on original love for Olivia, even though she has a love for original. She understands, and the love or original's love for Olivia as a natural one, as an happening in life. She knows, that she has to accept, because and the has fallen in love with the Viola, the original. So she has fault with the original's love for other things of a man, and still reveal her identity man for she has a, and she behaves in a very matured way. Sometimes love. So having, I didn't tell you, her sacrifice, is compared to the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. She suffers silently. So one of the critics, goes to the extent of comparing Viola to the sacrifice of Viola to the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Jesus suffered. There is a the Santiago, I think like the old man in the old man sea, Hemingway's old man, the old man sea, he also suffers enormously, accepting the inevitability. So the critics, make a comment, is, the pain the old man undergoes without making complaint. He comes, they say he comes, near Jesus Christ. And the love the old man shows for the creatures, like fish. Has love for all human beings. Jesus Christ has sacrificed his life for saving the souls of the human beings. Something like this. So like this, Viola is compared, the silent suffering. Viola is compared to Jesus Christ because of her silent suffering by the critics. So the first, the first, shows in every way in the play intelligent. For example, another scene, another conversation I quote, another conversation I quote from the same play, but even Olivia and the first. Okay, the first, the Olivia is Olivia is very angry with the first, the fool, because the fool hasn't come to your place for many days. So now you ask the fool. She says she doesn't want to see the fool. So you ask the people, take the fool out. Put the fool out. Then the fool, again repeats the same word. Put the fool out. Take the fool out. So what's the idea here, Olivia, Olivia, says this one, taking first as the fool. Olivia has asked the people, take the fool out. She means first. She means, first by first, as fool. But the fool, says, take the fool out. Here, the fool, he means is Olivia. See that the intelligent talk. The intelligent, the speech of the fool. So he, calls, she, calls Olivia directly as a fool. So she, is a kind of argument. She makes an indirect argument. He is not a fool. Olivia is only a fool. I hope you understand. She says, the Olivia says, take the fool out. Immediately, the next line, he speaks immediately, he speaks, take the fool out. He also tells her, take the fool out. So he tells Olivia, he is not a fool and she is a fool. And this joke of the fool, is enjoyed by all, enjoyed by even Olivia. But some people like Malvolio, another character Malvolio in the play, he represents Puritan. He represents, a staunch religious man, very sincere, serious religious man, but also a false one. False one. Shakespeare, shows, people who seem to be people who expose themselves as serious religious man. Sometimes, happen to be a false one also. Sometimes, most of the time, in their personal life, they don't follow the morality that they preach to others. Okay, that Shakespeare shows that this is what happening in the world. Even though people refuse to accept, but this is what happening with the religious men also, very much. And Shakespeare, through the character Malvolio, expose this, dual characteristics, dual behavior of the dubious behavior of the religious man. So the religious man, the Malvolio projects a character of a very sincere, sincere man following religion and also morality. And he doesn't like, Olivia engaging, entertaining the fool and enjoying the foolish words, the foolish speech, made by the fool. Something like this. And the fool, immediately senses in the wrong in the character of Malvolio. The wrong behavior in the character of the mind of Malvolio, the behavior of Malvolio. The wrong one, the very wrong one. So the fool, decides to teach him a lesson. Okay, this finally, it teaches him a lesson by making Malvolio as a fool, putting him in a dark room, making all people believe, including Olivia, that he has become mad. He has become mad. Okay, because so many things, we have to explain, but I tell you, in a short way. So, the fool has a mind to sense the wrong attitude, the mental attitude of Malvolio. And, and he makes a comment on that also. He makes a comment. Because you don't, through him, Shakespeare only makes him speak. He said, if you don't like, he's a comment on the religious man. The religious man, they always prescribe, rules. They prescribe rules to others, whether they follow or not. Or they cheat, people in this way to make their life a comfortable one. They make their life a comfortable one by by, projecting themselves as a higher one, better one, morally, religiously, and they make others, follow them, obey them, and inferior to them. And in that way, they enjoy, so many privileges. So, but in the private life, when they get opportunities, they go for all the nonsenses, all the evil actions. That Shakespeare, exposes through this character Malvolio. So the speech of Fest, makes a comment like this. Shakespeare makes a comment through Fest, and Fest, makes a comment. We can take it in any way. Fest says, hey, if you don't like to drink, if you don't want to eat the pie, if you don't want to eat to drink, if you don't want to laugh, if you don't want to enjoy life, others should not drink, others should not eat the cake, others should not drink the ale, others should not eat the cake, others should not laugh, others should not enjoy life. You see the very intelligent, criticism, very, right criticism Shakespeare makes on the foolish religious people, the false foolish religious people, selfish religious people. They always prescribe rules. When they don't eat drink, they don't want others drink. They don't want others also to. Then when they don't eat the cake, they don't want others also to eat the cake. So they prescribe the things, which they don't do to others. They prescribe the things, which they do to others. So see the things. This is the attitude of the mental attitude of the religious man. This is criticized vehemently by Shakespeare through this character, Malvolio, and through the comment of the Fest. So this you have to understand. So the world, if the world, understands this one, they will not follow the false religious people. So Shakespeare in the 16th century made a comment on these, false religious people. There are true religious people. So they are the exceptions here. We don't mean them. We mean the false one only, the ordinary men who, for selfish reasons, project themselves as religious men, cheating others for their comfortable life. That's for the comfortable life, money and other things. That's what, Shakespeare, makes a comment on such people through Malvolio. So the first, finally, he senses the mistake in the character of Malvolio and punishes Malvolio, putting him in a dark room, making others believe he is a madman, with the help of other characters. And he makes a comment on Origino's love also, blind love for Olivia also. So like this, the first in the play, proves to be very intelligent. So he is more intelligent than the hero and heroines in the play. Next, the fool in Lear, a very memorable character. The fool in Lear. The fool in Lear, entertains the Lear when he was a king. So he was a big entertainment to the king. The king would not be away from the fool for a long time. So he would be asking. The past, he would be asking for a fool. But when the king is banished from the country, banished from his palace by his two daughters, elder daughters, yesterday we discussed, the fool is also banished to the king. The two daughters unkindly ask the fool also to go with the master. That is one thing. But the fool, when the king, divides the kingdom among his two daughters, and when he gave the entire kingdom, power, authority to his two daughters, it becomes, that this foolish act of because the king gives all his power all his power, authority, the country, all, everything, he gives everything to the two daughters. So this is this here, the fool sees fool sees the foolishness in this act of Lear. So he never hesitates to make a comment, to make a comment on this, foolish act of the Lear. So, you understand, without hesitating, without any hesitation, the fools makes much comment, many comments continuously on this, foolish act of the Lear. Sometimes, it becomes, it irritates the king also, but he never punishes the fool. He gives that much license to the fool, the freedom to the fool. The fool takes that much license and freedom from the king, and he freely, makes a comment on this foolish behavior of the king. That, it will be a lengthy one if I explain all these things, how he, makes a comment on the fool, comment on the king as a fool. So now, then, another thing, in the play, when the king is banished, the fool only accompanies the king as a companion to the king. He doesn't, abandon the king. So Shakespeare, shows the fool in Lear, as a very intelligent one, and also true one, and also faithful one, true follower of the king, faithful follower of the king. So he doesn't abandon the king, in his adversity, in his suffering. He also undergoes all the adversity and suffering along with the king. When the king is in the cowshed, when the king takes shelter in the cowshed, he also stays, with the king in the cowshed. There is a storm and heavy rain, lightning outside. The king, takes shelter in a cowshed. That time, the fool, makes a comment on the king's behavior. Makes a comment on the king's behavior. First, he asks the king. He asks the king, one thing. At one time, asks the king, if a stone is, rolled down from the hill, from the top of the hill, one man has to hold the stone standing above the stone. One man has to hold the stone standing below the stone. It's a big stone. It should be rolled down from the top of the hill. So one man has to stand below the stone. One man has to take the upper position. One man has to take the lower position. So he asks the king whether he will take the upper position or lower position. The king says he will take the lower position. The fool says no, he will take the upper position. Then he asks why. He asks the king, why he will take the upper position. So he gives the reason for taking the upper position, saying like this, okay, if the man taking the upper position leaves the stone, okay, if the stone from the person, taking the upper position, if the stone slips away from the hands of the man, person, taking the upper position, it will crush down the one who has taken the lower one. So the fool, intelligently says he will not take the lower one, he will take the upper position. So see the intelligent talk of the fool in Lear. In so many ways, the fool, shows he is very intelligent. And another thing, he asks, the king, like this, he makes much comment on the foolish behavior of the Lear, dividing the kingdom among his daughters and giving away all his power and authority. Many ways, he makes a comment. Tirelessly, helplessly, continuously, he makes a comment. So, like this, so many things. The fool, proves to be in many ways he is a very intelligent and also faithful one. So, he is not a fool. He is a real human being. He is a human being with all knowledge about life and the world, and also a good nature, all good, qualities. So, Shakespeare shows a fool in Lear like this. And Shakespearean fool, and another touchstone in As You Like It. Touchstone that we have seen already in the previous sessions. I told you how touchstone makes a comment. Through him only Shakespeare makes a comment about the shortcomings of the city life, the benefit and shortcomings of the city life, and the benefits and shortcomings of the village life. So through Shakespeare, uses the fool only to make this indulgent comment, very indulgent comment, with a better understanding about life, on the shortcomings and benefit of the city life and the village life. So I hope you remember I told you in the city, we get all the modern comfortables, convenience, facilities, but in the village lacks. In the village life, we lack all these things. But in the village life, we get a kind of peaceful life, comfortable life. That life with the life, becoming life, with the nature, one with the nature. Very clean life, clean and peaceful life we can have in the village. But in the town, which we cannot have in the town life. Like this, Shakespeare, makes a right comments of about the shortcomings and benefit of the city life and the village life. And another thing, in the girls are asked to come to see a sport of the wrestling. Rosalind and Celia, they're asked by her uncle, Celia's father, to come and watch the wrestling match, calling them as a sport. So again, the touchstone makes a comment. Nowadays, the breaking legs, hands, neck, breaking neck becomes a sport for the girl. See the idea. So very intelligently, in a very with a kind of intelligence, he makes a comment. Nowadays, breaking legs, hands, neck has become a sport for the girl. Now he says it's a wonder of the modern time. So something like this. So he makes a comment. He doesn't, he makes through him, Shakespeare, makes a comment on the foolish behavior of the people. So when the girls, the touchstone, is fall in love with the village girl, the shepherdess, Audrey. One shepherdess called Audrey falls in love with the touchstone, and he has no love for that girl. The girl, when he sees the infatuations of the village, the shepherdess, towards him, so he finds it a fun. He finds it a not a serious one. He just takes it a fun, and he sees that the foolishness in the behavior of the girl. He asks the girl why he has developed the love for the man, what fine things he has found in him. Why so many questions, in an intelligent way, he put so many questions to the girl. She has fallen in love with him, seeing what best quality in him. So he is an honorary man. So what through the speech of touchstone, shows the girl has all the foolishness to fall in love with him, to fall in love with a man who is very honorary. But because he has come from a town, the girl, has developed an attraction and love for him, towards him. That is the point. So he never hesitates to point out the mistake. He does not want to abuse the girl because of her attraction towards him, but he never hesitates to point out the mistake in the girl's behavior, attitude. So finally, he makes another intelligent comment. When uh, he tries to marry the girl, when he tries to marry the girl, because of the insistence of the girl, he decides to marry the girl in the forest, lonely forest, with the with some kind of honorary priest. Honorable. Another character called Jax in the play, calls him. He's not a complete priest. He's not a full qualified priest. So he calls him a semi-priest, semi-qualified priest. So the marriage, will not be valid if the marriage is conducted under such a, conducted, by such a priest. The Jack, makes a comment. The marriage will not be a valid one. But Touchstone here, very intelligently makes a comment. He wants to get married, with the hands of by the hands of this priest only, because if he escapes tomorrow, if he escapes tomorrow, if she leaves order in the village, and goes to town, if he goes to town abandoning the girl, so the marriage, with the no value will not follow him, will not disturb him. Something like that. So he can escape from the marriage easily. That's what he says. If he marries a girl with such a priest. So see, the fool, has a very good understanding about all these things. But the marriage is not the very valid one. So he thinks, he can escape from the girl easily tomorrow. So he knows, he will not be in the village. He knows he will be leaving to the town. So like this, the Touchstone in the play makes a comment. At many places, he makes a comment. So we get so many small things, he makes a comment and he shows, he is very intelligent. And so Touchstone is another memorable, food we come across in As You Like It. And we talk about the food in Lear. We talk about Fest very much in 12th Night. So I don't want to go in detail, about the matter, because, we will not have time. And comedians, we have comedians. Comedians, the Fest is a very memorable comedian. We come across in Shakespeare's Henry IV. Fest is a bit elderly man. Shakespeare shows him as a bit elderly man. And elderly man mingling always with the youngsters, young men. And he always, mingles with the young man, drinking with them, drinking, chatting, and doing, other honorary things with them, low things with them. And he always stays in an inn, mingling with the young men, visiting the bars, visiting the inn, drinking with them, chatting with them, indulging in all other jolly activities and also some wrong activities. So Shakespeare shows, first, false stop in Henry IV like this. And he is a man with a huge body also. He's a man with a huge body, big belly, huge body and belly. So using that, Shakespeare, makes a comedy. He makes the audience, laugh at false stop in many ways. And he in the play, he writes the Prince Hall is the hero of the play, calls him a presser of the bench. He calls him a presser of the bench. He drinks, eats, and sleeps most of the time, lying on the bench. So, having this idea in the mind, he calls him a presser of the bench. So many, through so many, in so many conversations, conversation of Falstaff with other people, Shakespeare shows, Shakespeare, makes, creates, much comedy. At one time, the prince asked him when he had seen his knee last, because he has that much belly. So when he stands, he cannot see his knees. The belly will hide it. The belly, hides his, knees. So he asked, yeah, the prince, asked him when he had seen his knees last. Father, the dust Falstaff answers, he had seen his knees, when he was at the age of the prince. Now, see that the common, image. He saw his last, when he was at the age of the king, the prince. The prince is very young. So when he was young, he saw the leg, he saw his knees. Okay, long before. That is the idea. He saw his knees, long, many years ago. So he hasn't seen his leg for many years. That is the idea. Falstaff hasn't seen his knees for many years. So with that idea, he makes a reply. See the comedy, Shakespeare makes, using the figure of Falstaff, the huge physical frame of Falstaff. That is the idea. And another, the Prince Hall and another character, Buons, I think, they, take away the horse of Falstaff and make him, walk on the hilly area. When you make him walk, on the hilly area with lots of, exhaustion, he's not able to walk because he has got a huge body. So it's convenient for him to move on the horseback. He is not able to walk freely. When he walks, he will be breathing out and breathing in much. So that these people, the others, enjoy when he Falstaff gets into the trouble of walking like this, which much breathing in and breathing out, with much exhaustion. Okay, something like this. So Shakespeare, creates comedy through all these things. And another creates a big comedy with the Falstaff, he comes with the broken sword. Broken sword. The scene, actually, they plan to, make a highway robbery. Falstaff and other people, other friends make a highway robbery from the highway traveler. The prince and the pawns, they, attack this Falstaff and others, and rob the things which they have robbed of the highway travelers. And they come back to the inn, go back to the inn. But after this incident, Falstaff comes to the inn with a broken sword. That time only, when they go for the highway robbery, only they take the horse of Falstaff away and make him walk. But make him walk, some distance with the breathing, with the hard breathing. So now again, we comes to the very big comedy Shakespeare creates when Falstaff, comes to the inn with a broken sword. And the prince and others, will ask. Very big comedy. If you understand, if you read, very carefully, and you can enjoy the comedy very much. When they ask, the reason for the broken sword, he tells them he has fought with the two men. First he says he fought with the two men, and in that fight the sword got broken. As he speaks, then he would increase the number. He will increase the number. He says, he fought with the 4 men. The people, others ask, he said only 2. Now he says 4. No. The first half will read out, saying, no. He said only 4. The 4 will be very soon 8. Oh, the 4, now, the other people will come, the 4 have become 8. The first half, without any shy, without any hesitation, okay, without feeling, anything bad, he would increase the number from 4 to 8. No, 8. No, 8. No. Then 8 would be very soon 60. So the people, will back, all people, all the prince and others, they may come on, okay, the number will be increasing. Okay, let's wait and see how many it will come. The 8 will be 16, 16 will be 32, then 80, 100. So, shame, without any shame, without any hesitation, without caring others' feeling, okay, mind, Falstaff, will go on increasing the number of the soldiers, he fought with, from 2 to 100, imagine. And Shakespeare has written very aptly and beautifully for that, comedy scene. So you have to read. When you read, deeply about the matter, only you will enjoy the comedy. Otherwise, you're going to enjoy the comedy. So finally, he will say he fought with 100 men. Okay, with the one sword, as a single man, he fought with the 100 men. So the reason for the broken sword, he makes such a such a description without any shame and hesitation. So through this character of Falstaff, makes a comedy. So people laugh at everybody, even in the play, all the other characters laugh at such a characteristic of Falstaff. But he will never mind. He goes, without minding anything. He may feel sorry for some time only, for a brief time only, short time only. Then he will become like he will act, as if nothing happened to him. Something like this. Very interesting character. Falstaff, Shakespeare has shown Falstaff as a very interesting character in such a way. So somebody asked the prince, at one time asked, he is such an elderly man, mingling with the young boys, drinking with them, chatting with them, indulging in and indulging, with them, in some low activities. He spoils the young man. He says he spoils the young man by these activities of him. But Falstaff, answers, very coolly. Old man should not laugh. Old man should not enjoy things. If a man becomes old, he should not enjoy things. He should not laugh. See the argument of Shakespeare. This is one of the evils we have in the world. So only in the world, young people can laugh, enjoy things, do things freely. But old people, when they become a bit elderly, a bit older, the world, expects, they should not even laugh freely, laugh aloud, in an enjoying way, in a kind of, enjoyable way. So they expect, older man, a bit, when a man becomes a bit older, the world expects, the man to be serious. Okay, it's like this, to be serious in every way, in many ways. So this is one of the evils in the world. So like young man, old man also can laugh, enjoy things. Why they are prevented from even laughing, prevented from being free, prevented from, enjoying life? So this is, one of the evils, preached by the world. That Yates in his Salute to Byzantium also, points out. This is not the saying like this. The world is not for the old man. The world is for the young man only. The world is for the young man. The world is not for the old man. So saying like this, he says he leaves the world and goes to the world called Byzantium, representing spiritual world. So that we will discuss in some other session. So here, through this character, even in a light way, in a passing way, Shakespeare makes a very serious comment about some of the evils in the world. Old man cannot enjoy. Old man should not laugh. Old man should not enjoy things. So what is this life? Why, the people in the world, preach things like this? So these are here, we cannot find with the, even though Falstaff has some mistakes in his character, but this comment of Falstaff is very right. So this is a Shakespeare criticism on life, some of the evils in life. So like this, Falstaff becomes a very memorable character in many ways in this play. And so many things, they indulge in some comic activities, the Prince Hall and others. And from their conversation, they enact a drama. They enact a drama in which Falstaff acts like a father, the king as a father, and prince as a prince. and he will something, the way he makes, he advises the advice, he makes to Prince is a comedy one. It's a very big comedy is created, through Falstaff, making advice to the Prince Hall as a king. He tells the king, he mingles with some low boys, low company, and among the boys there is one good man, uh, who looks, he was a very big, who looks, very fat, little bit old. So he advised the king, he speaks as if the king advising Prince Hall, he can mingle with the only that man, and he should not mingle with the other boys. Then the prince will, will act as a king, Falstaff as a prince. The prince will, talk entirely as opposite one to what, Prince Hall, has spoken. The prince, acting as a king, he will advise Falstaff as a prince. So, yeah, a bit older, elderly man, a bit elder man with a huge body, corrupts the prince, spoils the king prince. So he should not mingle with it. Like this, the comedy is created in the play using the character Falstaff in many ways. So, in many ways, Falstaff becomes a memorable character. And bottom in Merchant of Venice, I have Midsummer Nights in bottom. Shakespeare creates a kind of comedy through bottom, through his character of, wanting to play everything, wanting to play all roles in the drama which they plan to, enact on the marriage day of Hippolyta and Theseus. So bottom, has the desire, sudden desire, the impulse, play all the roles in the drama. The lion spot, when the lion spot is introduced, he will say he will play the lion. He will play the lion lord better than anybody. He will roar as a real lion, better than anybody. And the lover part is introduced. Actually, the lover part, part of the premise is, allotted to him. So he will say he will play the part very superbly, something like this, fantastically, better than others. When the Thisbe, the heroine part is introduced, for other, he will say he will also play that. He will speak as a dove, very in the mild voice as a dove. When he plays in the role of the female role, he will say Thisbe. So something, all the role. When the role is introduced, when the different roles, the drama are introduced, bottom will, immediately, will say suddenly, immediately, without any hesitation, without any making any delay. So I try to, bring the point, bring the meaning. The behavior of bottom is here, is very, very important, through which Shakespeare makes a comedy. That we have to understand. If you don't understand that one, then you don't understand the sense of comedy in that. So he will say, he will do it. I will do that one. I will do better than this one. I will do that one. I will do this one better than this one. I will play the role of the king, lion also. He will roar, like as a real lion. And it will, then through that you will attract the audience. So like this, through this behavior of speech of bottom, Shakespeare creates a kind of comedy. Okay, bottom. You can understand, one man cannot play all the roles. One man can play only one role in the play. So like this, you can understand that the comedy created by Shakespeare through the character bottom. And bottom's head will be transformed into ash one by the Ariel, by the spirit character Puck. Puck is a spirit character. Spirit is also shown as a character. It always, stays invisible to others. Only it's visible to the King Oberon and the Titania. They are the fairy queen, and Titania and Oberon, fairy king and the queen. Puck serves Oberon, and when the rehearsal for the drama is going on, when Puck sees the overacting of bottom, it transforms bottom's head into ash one. Okay, bottom head and ash head. And bottom, without knowing that, when he meets a friend, when he talks to the friend, walks, the people, will run away. His friends, will run away. The other friends, will run away. Who are come to, for the rehearsal of the drama. So, bottom has no idea that his head is transformed. He thinks, they, they are up to they are up to, some fun over. They are up to some fun, they are up to some fun. He thinks, they make, some fun to him. So finally, Titania, under the influence of the juice of the flower, love in idleness. Under the juice of there is a story. It is a long story. Bottom, Titania. There is a fight between Titania and Oberon. Titania wants to take revenge upon Titania. Oberon wants to take revenge upon Titania. When she sleeps in the bower, in her bower, and Oberon squeezes the juice of the flower of the love in idleness over the eyelid of Titania. The power of the juice, when they power of the juice, like this, when they wake up, when the juice of the flower is squeezed on the sleeping person's eyelid, when they wake up, when the person sees, when the first thing in the person sees, they will madly in love with the person. So like this, Oberon has squeezed the juice of the flower in idleness on the sleeping eyelid of Titania. And now when ash-headed bottom comes to the bower of Titania, singing, and she wakes up and sees the ash-headed bottom and falls madly in love with the ash-headed bottom. So like this, Shakespeare creates a comedy in the bottom, how bottom speaks to Titania and their followers, the other fairies, follow your fairies. It's a comedy one. Shakespeare creates comedy through all these things, through the speech of bottom, through Titania and the other fairies there. So, like this, bottom is a comic hero in the play A Midsummer Night's Dream. So when we have to quote, when you write an essay, we after talking about the particular character, we can, quote the scene also. We can talk about, we can describe the scenes also. Then we'll get a very good essay, and we can support our points also with the scenes from the play. Then it will become a very good essay. Then, other Dogberry and Verges in Machado About Nothing. Dogberry and Verges. Shakespeare creates comedy through Dogberry Verges. They are the gods of the Duke. Dogs. They are the gods, of the Duke. They serve as a gods to the Duke. And they, it's Shakespeare creates comedy through their peculiar characteristic of, bluffing. They always bluff. They will not, say the matter clearly. Before making the matter clearly, before saying the matter clearly, they will, bluff. They will say, in spite of the right words, they use the wrong word. They will not come to the point directly. They will go rubber, they will say the matter in a roundabout way. Bluffing, using wrong words. You understand? So bluffing, in a bluffing way, they used to talk about the matter, inform the matter. For example, they have overheard the conversation between the villain's role of the villain in the play. Imagine. And they want to inform this one to the Duke immediately, because it's a very important one. And based on if the Duke, if they have put the matter clearly to the Duke, the matter will not be going to be serious. The next scenes, the next things, which is going to happen in the play will not be a serious one. Will not be going to be a serious one. But these people, the Duke is in a hurry to go to the church to conduct the marriage between the hero and the hero of the play. But here, they have overheard the conversation of the villain's role, spoiling the marriage. But they are not able to put the matter very clearly because they bluff. they don't use the right words. Because they use the wrong words and bluff, the Duke, becomes angry and leaves the place without listening to the information. So, like this, Shakespeare, makes the comedy, creates a comedy through the dogberry and verges, through their bluffing. And also, he uses them as an instrument for, indirect instrument for the tragedy that occurs with the heroine of one of the heroines of the play. Hero. So, Dogberry and Burgess. I told you something about Dogberry and Burgess. Bottom, very important, bottom and Falstone. And comic scenes. We can talk about the comic scenes in Shakespeare's plays also. Shakespeare uses the comic scenes. The other comedians, small comedians we come across in Antony, Cleopatra, and in other plays. And Shakespeare uses the comic scenes as a comic relief, they say. Comic relief in the tragedies. He uses a comedy in the tragedies as a comic relief. In order to heighten the tragedy, they say, that also we can discuss in the next sessions. Okay, Saravanan sir, I think I have spoken, I have taken much time.
No issues, sir. It was listening so very nice to listening to you, sir. Very, very well presented. Excellent presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hearty congratulations, sir, first of all.
Thank you, sir, because we can't go in general. If we go for
and the way you made it is really awesome.
There are so many things, but we cannot, put everything in an hour.
That's why, what is that? Let's say session after session we are having.
Yeah.
No end can be set. It can be, we can present it again and again and again. Because people will never get bored to listening to you and on Shakespeare.
Yeah, please wait, sir. One of my friends, Bengar, Arnodayam, Bengar, are you attending? Are you there, Bengar? One of my friends' name I see, classmates, a friend,
wow,
professor.
Wow. Hearty welcome, sir. Hearty welcome. Yeah.
I see his name, Bengar Arnodayam. Bengar, do you hear me? Who is attending? His wife or Bengar? From Purayar. He works as a professor in Purayar. He stays in Karaikal. I see his name in the list. Bengar? Bengar, do you hear me? Bengar?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Please, sir. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Bengar,
yeah, I have been listening. Yeah, I have been listening to you, Mr. Kulandevi.
Oh. Saravanan sir is introduced to Saravanan sir.
Thank you, sir, for Sir Bengar sir. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I have been listening to your speech. Yeah.
VIT. Bengar is from VIT, Vellore Institute of Technology. They are, very actively organizing this program.
Okay.
Economy is also here.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Really, it was very wonderful. I enjoyed the session.
I see the name.
Thank you for joining. Yeah.
So many things we cannot, we have to bring it to a track. So otherwise, so many things we cannot add also. So I try to filter the things. So I hope I made the point. Bengar, how are you?
Yeah, fine, Kulandevi. I have been listening to you.
Very good. You can also make a speak in this Velta forum, or in the Velta forum.
In future, we'll do. No problem.
Yeah, you are most welcome, sir. You can
thank you.
sometime plan your presentation sometime. You can do it certainly. We'll be happy to have you.
Thank you, Saravanan sir. Thank you for your more appreciation.
I must congratulate you once again, sir, for your wonderful presentation and again bringing new people to the forum. And it was immensely useful. And listening to you, it's really yet another pleasure, I should say. Again, it's a wonderful Sunday. Listening to Shakespeare's works and again, especially on this characters.
Bangar, I think we have studied much about nothing in BA. Huh? Bangar?
Yes, Kuldevan.
We have studied, I
Yes.
think, much about BA, I think. BA. Macbeth also we have studied.
Oh, you are recollecting now, actually.
Professor Dr. Balasubramaniam, VKB, taught this
Okay.
place energetically in the
Mhm.
classroom. Much about nothing also we have studied in the bluffing of the Dogberry wedges. I still remember. Taught Bangar, do you remember this one?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, Bangar was my BA classmate.
Oh, I see. So long time associate then. Great. So
Still
pleasure.
MA,
keeping it. Still keeping in touch.
yeah, in Bharadas
That's really
University.
awesome. And meeting somebody who was your classmate, and it's really pleasure connecting with people for such a long time, and meeting him on the forum again, connecting with him. It's amazing.
Yes, Kulandevan and myself are always keeping in touch. So
Great.
whenever he has such programs, he'll send the link.
Oh, right. That's very kind of you, sir. Thanks for
Okay.
this.
Sir,
Thank you.
sir, I was in Maldives, sir. We didn't meet for many years. I was in Chennai, I was in Pudukkottai, I was in Chennai, then I was in Maldives. Then when I came back from Maldives, I got the information he was in Poraya working as a guest lecturer.
Okay.
Then I went all the way to meet him.
Hmm.
We have no phones, that cell phones, we had no
Correct.
phones.
Hmm.
It's a very interesting event in our life. I went, all the way to Poraya to meet him.
To meet him,
And
and you had a great
I
time.
I was waiting for him on the street, on which, he used to come back from the college.
Wow.
When he was starting on the street, he was very startled to see me standing. After many years, I was starting. Imagine, the situation. Huh? When he started, he made a big, made a sound a big, different expression, reaction. Also
So,
nice. Mm.
sweet reminiscences, I should say.
In that way, we keep, the friendship. I try to keep friendship with him. He is a good man. Now I visit him often. He is in Karaikal. Whenever I have time, I visit him. When I go to Chidambaram, I often go to Chidambaram. This weekend also I go to Chidambaram. Coming Saturday, Sunday. Sarwan sir, okay, we share. Very happy. We
Great,
meet.
and all the participants would have felt the same thing. And thank you so much. And really, thanks for your consent. Immediately, you agreed to do the presentation. It's really that shows your nobility, and we are very thankful to you for your august presence as well as your valuable time. Once again, hearty congratulations, sir. And thanks for introducing our friends and all. So happy. Even Angir Kani madam has come.
Yeah, I always send messages to her. Again, madam, you have no college. You are free today. Again, madam.
I think madam has left. No issues. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you all. We will have a
Okay,
break now, lunch break, and 2 o'clock let's meet.
okay.
Sir, already I have spoken to Alok Chandra, sir. He has agreed to do the presentation
I
in
will.
our conference.
Okay, sir. I will inform you the time.
Please, sir, please.
Time is going
Thank
to.
you, Purnavel sir. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Excellent presentation on your part, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yesterday, when I did go for my presentation, I am referring to yesterday's FDP. So I
Yeah.
did go for William Shakespeare's sonnets, sonnet number 12, because I am going for the trilogy, at least three
Yesterday, I saw
versions
that.
of William Shakespeare sonnets.
Yeah.
I am
Yesterday,
thankful to you, sir.
I was a bit surprised by seeing your title. Oh, Sir was also going to. Okay. I saw your title with the Shakespeare yesterday.
Sir, thank you.
Okay. Okay, sir. I will inform you the time of your speech, sir, on 18 very soon.
Sir, it's my privilege and pleasure, and I would be very much active on that particular day, sir. and
Okay, sir.
I will send you the details regarding my institutional affiliation, my name and with designation, and I am keeping in touch with you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Saravanan, sir. Let's make a break. Prema madam is not here, huh? Saravanan, sir, let's make a break. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Allah, sir. Okay, we make a break. Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Thank you.